Hello, welcome back to our ongoing tutorial series in the Arturia CS-80V, and at the moment we're dealing with master oscillator settings. So we've taken two signals from oscillators 1 and 2, we've mixed them together, and now we can have some global effects on that sound. So let's deal with the ring modulator first, which is over here. 5 sliders. The ring modulator applies a sine wave, multiplies our output wave with a sine wave, oscillating at this speed by this much. So if we set our oscillator, our sine wave oscillating at say 3 Hz and start bringing the effect in, so we've got a simple triangle wave with no ring mod applied. There's a triangle wave. Now bring the ring mod in. You can hear the sine wave being applied, being multiplied with the output sound. If we increase the speed, we start to get more of a classical ring mod effect. There it comes. And all those extra frequencies being added in. It's the sine wave, which is oscillating very quickly now. How fast is it going? Oh, very fast. Okay, so that's pretty standard fare for ring mod. Then we have these 3 other controls: attack, decay and depth. And what this gives you is an envelope that's going to be applied to the ring mod every time you hit a key. So the depth is basically like a secondary amount slider. The attack is how long it's going to take to get from our initial value that's set with this slider here to whatever value is set with the depth slider. Then decay is how long it's going to take to get from that point back to our master slider, and then it'll be held at that level. So if I play a note on the keyboard and get the ring mod doing its thing, none of these sliders have any effect, because we've already been through the envelope period for this note. It's always based on you hitting the key that these things have any kind of effect. So don't sit there holding a key down, playing with these controls and expect to hear anything. You have to actually hit the key. So what do we get? So what we end up with, once it's all settled down, it will settle down eventually, there you go, is what you would have had if you don't actually mess with any of the sliders at all. So that's ring mod. Nasty little thing. I don't use ring mod very often. I do find it quite an irritating sound. Okay, so we're back to our standard triangle wave. We have a master detune slider. So if I bring the second oscillator in, we've got a triangle over here. A nasty, what's that going on? Sawtooth, isn't it? Yeah. So I mix those two together, and now we can detune the 2 oscillators. Double click it and it sets it back to 0, which is in the middle of the slider, so it's not detuned. If I go up, then I've detuned the saw. If I go down, the saw is now sharper than the triangle. Keyboard control. What we've got going on here is a keyboard split filter based key follow. So these 2 brilliant sliders share the responsibility for mapping the keyboard's key follow range at C3. Low is for the bottom half of the keyboard and high is for the upper keyboard. So if you want to have what would ordinarily be considered a classic kind of key follow slope, where you know your lower notes are dull and your upper notes are sharp, the way to emulate that is to set your low slider a bit flat, your high slider a bit sharp, and now your dull notes are lower than they otherwise would be. There's your regular tone, and again your high notes, which ordinarily would sound like that, we've made them sharper. So that's what you do if you want to emulate that, your bottom one doing a bit of the low stuff and your upper one doing a bit of the high stuff. These two sliders over here are exactly the same. Let's just turn the LPF off. These are the same concept, but now we're dealing with volume. So ordinarily, when both of these sliders are set to 0, so I'm playing a low note on the keyboard here, and we're at about, what, -22, something like that. If I bring this down, we get quieter for the low notes. And so again, just as I described for the filter stuff, if you want to accentuate that effect over the entire keyboard, for your high note, which would ordinarily be at, again, about -22, now we want those notes to be louder, and there we are. That'll do us for this video. In the next one, we'll deal with this bank of controls down here, including the reasonably head-bending button configuration for the portamento and gliss. Oof. Hope to see you then. Thanks very much for watching.